Two people walk into a party. One of them tries cocaine for the first time, feels a rush, and never touches it again. The other one tries it, same drug, same night, and 5 years later, they've lost their job, their family, and everything they own. Same drug, same night. Completely different outcomes. Why? And here's what's even more unsettling. Scientists now believe that some people were wired to get addicted before they ever touched a single substance. Which means for them, that first try was never just a try. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what separates someone who gets addicted from someone who doesn't. And I promise you, it's not about willpower, it's not about weakness, and it's definitely not what most people think it is. We're going to look at the brain science. We're going to talk about a psychological trait that's present in almost every single person who develops addiction. And at the end, I'm going to show you something researchers discovered that completely flipped what we thought we knew about recovery. It changes everything. Stay with me, because understanding this might change how you see someone in your own life. Here's where it starts. Dopamine, your brain's reward chemical. Every time you eat something good, hug someone you love, or accomplish something, your brain releases a burst of dopamine. That feeling of pleasure, of satisfaction, that's it. Now here's what drugs do. They hijack that system completely. A hit of cocaine, for example, floods your brain with up to 10 times the dopamine that any natural reward would produce. 10 times. Your brain has never felt anything like it, and it remembers. Over time, the brain begins to adapt. It starts producing less dopamine on its own, because it's come to expect the drug to do that job. So now, without the drug, nothing feels good. Food, laughter, connection, it all feels flat, empty. The drug isn't just something they want anymore, it's something their brain genuinely needs just to feel normal. That's not a character flaw, that's neuroscience. But here's where people are different from the start, even before they ever try a drug. Researchers have found a specific personality trait that shows up in almost every person who develops a severe addiction. It's called high sensation seeking. Sensation seekers are wired to chase intense experiences. They get bored easily. They take risks. They love novelty. And this isn't a flaw. Some of the most creative, successful, charismatic people in the world are high sensation seekers. But it also makes them far more vulnerable to addiction because drugs deliver exactly the kind of extreme stimulation their brains are constantly craving. Think about people you know who seem to live at full volume, always the most exciting person in the room, always chasing the next thing. There's a reason those same people are statistically more likely to struggle with substance use. And then there's the factor that almost nobody talks about: trauma. Studies show that people who grew up in chaotic, unpredictable environments literally have altered stress response systems as adults. Their brains learn to stay in a constant state of anxiety. And drugs, for them, aren't about getting high. They're about feeling calm, normal, safe. For many of them, the drug was the first thing that ever made the noise in their head go quiet. Okay, but here's the thing that really got me when I first learned this. Researchers did a study where they took people with zero history of drug use, scanned their brains, and were able to predict, before they ever tried anything, who was most likely to become addicted. Just from the brain scan, before they ever tried anything. That means in many cases, the vulnerability was already there, just waiting. And yet we've spent decades telling these people to just stop. Knowing this, how does that change things? There's a physician named Gabor Mate who spent decades working with people in severe addiction. And he says something that stops most people cold. The question is never why the addiction. The question is why the pain. Almost every person struggling with addiction has a story underneath it. Trauma, neglect, chronic loneliness, anxiety that never got addressed, a childhood that left wounds that never healed. The drug wasn't the beginning of the problem. It was the solution to a problem that was already there. For many people, a substance is the first thing that ever made them feel okay, safe, calm, like themselves. Think about that for a moment. If something gave you the first real relief you'd ever felt from pain you'd been carrying your whole life, how easy would it be to walk away from it? This is why telling someone to just stop doesn't work. You're not just asking them to give up a drug. You're asking them to give up their only coping mechanism, without giving them anything to replace it. Let me tell you about a case that brings all of this to life. There was a man, we'll call him Marcus. By every measure, he had a normal life. Good job, close family, no major trauma. He tried heroin at 32, at a party, out of curiosity. One time. Within 3 months, he was using daily. Within a year, he had lost his job. His family didn't understand. They thought he was selfish, weak, that he just didn't love them enough to stop. What they didn't know, what Marcus didn't even know, was that brain imaging later revealed he had naturally low dopamine receptor density. His brain had spent 32 years feeling subtly underwhelmed by life. And heroin, for the very first time, made him feel like everything was finally enough. He wasn't chasing a high, he was chasing normal. And that one shift in understanding is what eventually helped him find the right treatment. Because once his doctors stopped treating him like a bad person and started treating him like someone with a neurological vulnerability, he got better. Remember at the very start, I told you researchers discovered something that completely changed what we thought we knew about recovery? Here it is. In the 1970s, a psychologist named Bruce Alexander ran an experiment that changed everything. He built what he called Rat Park, a large, stimulating environment where rats could play, socialize, and live well. Then he gave them a choice, plain water or drug-laced water. The rats in Rat Park almost never chose the drugs, but rats kept alone in empty cages, they chose drugs almost every single time, until it killed them. Same drug, completely different environment, completely different outcome. The conclusion was radical. Addiction isn't just about the substance. It's about the environment. It's about connection. It's about whether or not life feels worth living without it. The single biggest predictor of long-term recovery isn't the type of treatment. It isn't medication. It isn't even therapy. It's connection. One stable, non-judgmental relationship changes everything. And one more thing, because this matters. Scientists have discovered that the brain of someone who is addicted can remain fundamentally changed for years, sometimes permanently. The memory of the drug gets encoded deeply in the same parts of the brain that store survival instincts. So when someone in recovery walks past a place they used to use, hears a certain song, or smells something that takes them back, their brain can fire a craving as powerful as the day they stopped. Scientists call it cue-induced craving. It can happen years into recovery. That's not failure. That's not weakness. That's a brain that was changed, and healing takes time. So here's what we know. Some people are biologically wired to be more vulnerable to addiction. Lower dopamine, higher sensation-seeking, altered stress systems. For them, drugs don't just feel good. They feel like relief, like finally being normal. And the most dangerous thing we can do, as a society, as families, as individuals, is look at someone in addiction and call it a choice. Because the research tells us it's far more complicated than that. Understanding the psychology doesn't mean excusing the behavior. It means approaching it with the kind of intelligence and compassion that actually creates change. Because shame doesn't help, judgment doesn't help, understanding does, connection does, compassion does. And if you're watching this because it's personal, because you're the one fighting this battle, I want you to hear this clearly. The fact that you haven't been able to stop doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human, and you deserve help that actually understands what you're going through. If this gave you a different way of seeing addiction, drop a comment below. Tell me what changed in how you think about it. I read every single one. And if someone in your life needs to hear this, share it with them. It might matter more than you know. And if you want to go deeper into how psychology shapes behavior in ways we never expect, the next video is right here. I'll see you there.